So Kipling is a handbag and luggage brand that has quite a unique positioning as a casual lifestyle brand. The brand has been founded in Antwerp over 30 years ago. The brand has been acquired by VF in 2004. VF is a major American lifestyle group that has brands such as Vans, Timberland, The North Face, also recently acquired Supreme. Today it's a true global brand. We do nearly a third of our revenue in each one of the continents. Our headquarters is in Antwerp, but we also have headquarters for APAC in Hong Kong and for the Americas in New York. But Kipling has always kept quite an autonomous management over the years, even if we use a lot all the VF platforms in terms of digital, in terms of sourcing and logistics. So I think if we have to start talking about the brand, we also have to start talking about the segment as such. So the luggage and bag segment is a very large segment that has been increasing between 4 to 6, even up to 10% in some of the regions. And it's been a huge driver also thanks to the increasing travel industry. However, there has been some changes happening in the luggage and bag segment because you can truly see that there has been a big driver coming from the luxury brands, the high-end brands, also very much driven by a strong appetite of the Asian and specifically the Chinese consumer for luxury brands that has been driving the market up. On the other hand, you have on the lower part of the segment a lot of entry brands that are quite low price that have been taking a big share of the market. As such, all the mid-segment brands, in which also Kipling is, has been a little bit under pressure from the luxury, from the top, and also from the entry brands. Therefore, we really had to also review Kipling throughout the years, as the mid-market segment has been extremely competitive. So the brand has gone through a lot of evolution. It's always stayed very close to its original ADN, which is a casual lifestyle brand. But we have gone through a revamp of the brand, also to follow the latest trends. We've gone through a creative vision, a purpose, and also made sure that we respond to all the trends as we want to recruit a younger consumer. So after a few attempts in Japan and Korea, we also focused our business of the entry into Hong Kong and Singapore. Hong Kong and Singapore are extremely interesting markets because it's truly this vision of shop till you drop. A strong appetite for local consumer, for the whole shopping and department store area, but also it is representing a true hub for travelers. And travelers also become a big focus for Kipling. So we have truly been developing these cities as true cities for shopping, trying to recruit travelers, but also local consumers. So Hong Kong in particular was extremely interesting because it geographically already represents a bridge to the Chinese market. When Hong Kong also started to open to China travelers, it started to expand very fast, especially also as the rise of the middle class and Chinese nationals being able to acquire a passport could enter Hong Kong. It represented a huge opportunity for all brands and also, of course, also to Kipling. At some stage, the Chinese consumer represented 70% of sales in Hong Kong. Also, what is very interesting that Chinese, also when they travel, have this drive and appetite for social status, and also are one of the highest spenders in the world when they travel. So we highly developed our model there in department store, but also standalone stores to have this truly retail experience for local, but also for international shoppers. Given the sheer size of China, when we've started to enter the market, we had to rely a lot on partners in order to expand into tier 1 cities and also make sure that we follow the real estate development across all of China. These partners helped us also to work around regulations that were actually quite complicated to start to do business with. On the other hand, we also worked with shopping malls that started to expand and truly mushroom through all the tier 1 cities. And as soon as department stores and chains entered, that were actually quite strong shopping heaven, also on a model of the Japan, but also on the Western countries, we followed the trend. Our major focus was tier 1 cities, especially Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen, but slowly developed throughout the rest of the country. Then, of course, if once the partners developed, it was also quite an interesting learning because there were some good partners and less professional partners. So there was a whole evolution there where we started to take some business back and also change partners to make sure that we have the right expansion and the right model that really corresponds to where we wanted to bring the Kipling brand on the long term. As such, also when when we joined VF, we used the platform in Shanghai and also the location there in terms of headquarters in order to further develop regionally, but also prepare and develop our entry into China. If we also look at the partners, what becomes key is, of course, the whole retail experience. Being a partner or being in a shopping mall, when a consumer enters the POS, we wanted to have the same experience as any consumer would have in our own Kipling store. So helping the partners also to develop this customer experience that is truly what Kipling is standing for, we had to work very closely with the partners to make sure that we have exactly the same experience wherever the consumer would shop. So the digital acceleration in China has been truly fascinating and increasing exponentially. Today, as a brand, you have to really empower the brand and follow this digital acceleration if you want to be successful. So in China specifically, we really started our digital drive with the launch of Alibaba, which started as a B2B network, which also helped us to work with our partner. But then in 2015, when Tmall was launched, which is, I would say, the Amazon of China, it truly became interesting. Because of course, at the beginning, Tmall was really a brand that was very much discount-driven, but very fast it became one of the major platforms in order to bring your brand and truly become a household name. Which an evolution that was also key was the start of the online and smartphone payment. Because of course, China being very large and not a lot of trust into different payment systems, the launch of Alipay or WeChat Pay really spearheaded the development of the digital business. Today, the digital business of Tmall nearly represents half, or 45% to half of the business done across all China. As such, when we started entering Tmall and really started to develop, as many other brands in the apparel and fashion industry, it opened the door to a whole new development. one part which was also very interesting was this omnichannel experience that Tmall started to create. Through online payment and smartphone payment, you could truly bring the online business to the offline channels, because offline you simply had to scan a QR code, and this again opened a lot of business opportunity. Also, this omnichannel experience is something that is helping us to develop a whole new ecosystem as a brand, and also a different way of marketing to the end consumer. Another part which is quite interesting working with Tmall and Alibaba is the whole data sharing process. In Europe or in the US, it is actually quite hard to get this big data, and I'm sure everybody is familiar that data is king today. But having this data really helps you as a marketeer to reach with the right product, the right consumer. Tmall is very transparent with the key partners, and today we know very well who is our consumer, where she shops, when she shops, how many children she has, what income she has, in which city she lives, what she does for holidays, and which other brands and competition brands she's actually associating with our own brand. And this creates a whole new opportunity for every marketeer to really make sure that we have the right products, and also make sure that we reach her or him at the right moment in our business. Another very interesting evolution that has been accelerating with COVID is consumer wanting to be entertained. Before, you could just click on some banners in order to reach the platform. Today, there's a true need for short videos, testimonials, and also how the key opinion leader are talking about the brand. Another very interesting part that saw its appearance during the COVID period is live streaming. Live streaming today by famous key opinion leader represents nearly 15% of our business. And we have approximately, at the moment, 120 hours of live streaming a month. During the COVID high time and also the closure of our store, live streaming from stores themselves that were locked represented nearly a quarter of our business. So it's truly an evolution that we see, and a whole new way on also how to market our products outside. If you talk about live streaming too, you see that the next big frontier will actually be broken through social commerce. From live streaming, you can directly purchase your products, and this is really going to see a huge expansion in the future, because directly from your local Instagram or your WeChat, you can actually go into the store and buy the products. So this means, if you summarize, that you need to have the right products, you need to have the right partner, and you also need to have the right access. And this is really what we have been working on with the expansion in China, is to respond to new trends, new consumer needs that we see appearing fast. Then, of course, in terms of right channel, we need to make sure that we have this omni-channel experience between offline and online. And if you look at the right access, you can see with the right platforms, the right resources, and also the right payment system, you're able to market your products in a very different way. So Kipling, as I said, is a true global brand. So for me, it was very important that there is also a global brand experience across the world. However, we have also seen with the evolution of the Chinese consumer that truly there was an appetite for more local, for more nationalistic developments, as China or made in China actually really became very cool again. So in order to follow this trend, we had to work very closely with key opinion leaders, which is the expression for bloggers, bloggers and vloggers across the region to drive the buzz. So what we also developed closely was really from an international to a local brand. So the brands, in order to be successful, had to work with local designers in order to create a much stronger buzz, and also to surf a little bit on this trend of the new China cool. So we did at least 1 or 2 local collaborations with designers that helps us also to go into the Shanghai Fashion Week and to also create some buzz. Because buzz is truly what is driving brands today. Having a local endorser also helps us to follow these trends and to also track the buzz across the country. So quite similar to Google Analytics in the Western world, one of the big buzz trend follower in China is called Taobao. And we truly search always for our Taobao brand search index to see how the brand is standing over the weeks and how we can make sure that we come much closer to the Chinese consumer. So also when we looked at the Taobao search index, you see different trends appearing. One big trend that has truly been shaping also the way we develop our product is the smartphone payment. Nobody really needs a purse today because everything is done via WeChat Pay or Alipay. As such, there is no need for a wallet or something to put your money in. So we have seen that there has been a big trend for more waist bag or crossbody bags, smaller bags that help you just to go out with your phone, your lipstick, and this is all you need truly to go out on the street. So we have developed many products going into this trend, and even today during COVID times, we've seen the big brand search increasing. One of the biggest increases coming truly from phone bags. So we've seen a lot of innovations come from China and develop in the rest of the world. And today, all the eyes are on China because it's a market that has been expanding and also shows a little bit the trends for the future. So the waist bag trend has actually started in Japan and then has been expanding into the rest. The phone bag trend is definitely coming from China and is expanding to the rest of the world. We will still continue to develop our business in Asia and definitely see some increasing expansion in the future. First of all, we will continue to balance our off and online channels. COVID has accelerated and really helped us also to ask ourselves the right question. What is the role of our brick and mortar store? Do you need such a big expansion? And we've truly seen that actually we need to define closer the role that a store is playing in the region. Is it a showcasing store? Is it a recruitment store? Is it more tactical or strategically located store? So we have gone very closely through our real estate and really defined what is the role of a store in a specific location. At the same time, the expansion of live streaming from stores, but also the opportunity of Omnichannel and click and collect is another role that the store has not been playing in the past, but will in the future. So this evolution of brick and mortar will also has as a result to go digital first. Our digital channel and the development of online channels and marketplaces is what is going to represent the biggest drive in the future. Which also means that we will work very closely with our partners. And this is also a priority that we need to make sure that our partners and distributors in APAC follow this lead and also follow this digital acceleration, because it requires a lot of resources and different way of marketing in order to build the right channel and also work on a different segmentation. So Kipling as a brand will have to really look at these future changes very closely and adapt a lot of things. The first one is, of course, for the digital part is the right segmentation of product. Today, online is actually a whole new world because you have different players. The same way you have different stores in different locations, all these players have different consumers. So one big part in order to win in each one of this channel is the right product segmentation. At the same time, it also represents a big challenge in terms of resources. Today there's a strong need for competences and the right capabilities to enter and marketeer in these online channels. And then of course it has a huge impact in terms of product, because you need to have the right product in the right channel for the right consumer. And this is of course also means that you have to follow the trends. At the same time, if you look at the consumer today, the new consumer being a younger millennial or a Gen Z consumer is a very volatile and not very loyal consumer. So I believe that the changes that we have now seen coming through COVID, the increase of live streaming and social commerce is something that is here to last. Because the same as a consumer wants to have a true retail experience when she or he is going to the stores, he wants to have the same experience online. So when they go online, they want to be entertained, they want to see movies, they want to see background about the stories, and live streaming is exactly that. It gives you a lot of information about the brand, about the product, about its features, and also opportunities, styling, occasions to wear. And this is truly responding to a retail experience that the consumer wants to last. So as such, we will continue to implement short movies and go away from static assets. And this will also open the door to new platforms such as social commerce, because you will have a lot of KOL, bloggers, vloggers, our direct social media pages that are going to become true retail channels that are going to massively expand in the future. We definitely see that our distributors in North Asia, Japan and Korea have been developing quite strongly already, but we still see geographically an opportunity in Southeast Asia, in countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia or Philippines, where Kipling has the potential to expand, and where there's also a strong appetite into a luxury entry segment product. A third big point is, of course, Kipling represented as a travel brand. Even if you look at all the Taobao search indexes or even Google Analytics, Kipling is standing for travel as a lightweight bag, and also this casual cool look that you want to have when you travel. Even if COVID has brought traveling to a halt, we see a different way of mobility that is developing, and truly also will continue to develop Kipling as a travel brand and a brand that you need for city discoveries in the future.